This is your Daily 5 for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Apple CEO Tim Cook had his 65th birthday this month, and right on cue, any number of different articles on different sites, including one that I'm going to link here, popped up with different reporting news items speculating that, put giant quotations around almost everything I'm going to say and have said at this point when it comes to financial reporting, that he could retire as soon as next year, possibly that preparations for the transition model for the next CEO and successors is actively intensifying, blah, 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 blah. And I'm weirdly accentuating these words because almost all these are basically just complete and utter, well, maybe type of statements. And to some degree, it's understandable because at different milestones in life, there become different health considerations and concerns. And as good a shape as Tim Cook is in, no matter how good you are in terms of physical and mental health, things can just pop up. So it is not surprising that there probably has been some type of intensification of making sure that there's a succession plan in place in case something happens. It's not like Apple is unfamiliar with an extraordinarily successful leader of the company becoming ill over a relatively short time span and not being able to lead the company anymore. I doubt that memory is ever that far away from anybody who's been at Apple for any significant amount of time. And so it does make sense that they would change, update, perhaps be a little bit more attentive to what would happen if a worst case scenario arose, not to mention the fact that there are just random things that happen. So am I shocked? Do I disbelieve that Apple at the 65-year milestone for Tim Cook in terms of his age, they are revisiting and revising, especially because there has been some shuffling towards the top and middle of the company in terms of people coming and going. Are they reevaluating, meeting, making sure everything still makes sense? Yes, I'm sure they are. But do I have any realistic expectation that Tim Cook is going anywhere in the near term, barring a health incident or some random event? Of course not. This is the thing that's so baffling to me about this, is Apple, I believe, is still one of the most valuable companies on the planet, and it has gotten only ever more valuable with Tim Cook leading the company, and even putting aside what some people consider stumbles like the AI debacle or whatever, which I don't even think most people care about. It's still a company that has only shown that it's getting stronger over time. So why? Unless there was something, again, that we don't know about health-wise, or if Tim Cook, I don't know, bonked his head in the shower and suddenly hates Apple now, why would he retire? This is all just stuff. And I would guess that there's going to be these same spate of reports every birthday he has going forward. And there have been these before. Every time there's been anything where Apple's share fell more than some, I don't know, margin of error amount, you start seeing these articles coming around where people are like, well, is it time for Tim Cook to retire? Even though, again, if you just look at the financial health of the company, even if it were to lose half its value overnight, I don't think there's any chance of that happening, but let's say it did, you would still look at his leadership over time at Apple as immensely overpoweringly successful. And that would and then you would have to attribute even such a magnificent loss of wealth directly to him and not some larger market forces, or I don't know, the discovery that using MacBooks gives you brain tumors or something, some just insane thing. But even then, you wouldn't be able to look at Tim Cook and say, well, he just didn't know how to run a company. Come on. This stuff is just to get people reading it and talking about it, just to generate attention. Obviously, I'm talking about it, but only because I want to underscore how absurd it is. Because I really think, barring some unusual, unexpected, or real random event, any successful CEO, not even just Tim Cook, we could talk about companies that have far less money. Anybody who has successfully run a company for any amount of time and has avoided some kind of personal or financial scandal probably can just leave whenever they want. If they have overseen a period of time where a company has only grown more influential, more valuable, has better name recognition over time, those people can leave whenever they want. Do not be fooled by any of this stuff. Again, with any company. So do I think that there's any realistic chance that outside of something highly improbable that Tim Cook is leaving? No. So when you see these articles, just ignore them. They're just there to make you read them, but they don't actually mean anything. Later.